Everyone. My name is Robert Gomez. I'm a reverse mortgage professional here, and I'm here with Ashley and Corey. Would you guys like to introduce yourselves?
Hi, my name is Ashley White. I'm a realtor in the Los Angeles area. I'm really looking forward to working with you, Robert, and hearing all about these reverse mortgages and how we can better serve our senior community. And then I have Korie here with me. Korie, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yes, thank you. Hi, my name is Korie White, and I'm also a realtor in the Los Angeles area. I've been a realtor for over 7 years, and I enjoy working with my senior community and my baby boomers. And hello to all you awesome people out there who have joined us today. And I look forward to working with you also, Robert and Ashley.
Amazing.
I
Awesome.
just want
So,
to say really
oh,
quickly, me and Korie, we have the same last name, but we're not related.
I was
Um,
actually gonna ask, are you guys like cousins? Is she your mom or something?
we met in real estate school. So actually, Korie, we have been licensed for 8 years.
Wow.
Come August
From
1st.
August, you're right.
Yeah.
You're right. Actually, 8+, because we've been doing it before we were licensed.
Yeah, Korie was doing it for years before she was actually. And before I was licensed, I was in the home care, elder care field. So that's kind of where my passion for being able to serve the senior community comes from.
Nice. So just a little bit about my backstory. I got into real estate at 19 years old. I started doing mortgages. I actually helped someone buy a house as a teenager. I was 19 when I did that first purchase transaction, and it was pretty cool to say I helped someone buy a house at 19. From there, it was during 2020. I was helping people buy houses, refinance. It was a very crazy time to be in real estate, and
Yeah.
I helped someone save $800 a month on their mortgage. And to this day, he calls me so excited, saying, "Thank you so much, Robert. You're a lifesaver." And I wasn't really fulfilled in the work that I was doing. It was very odd. Like, yes, I was helping people with the American dream and handing them the keys to their house, but something was missing, and I didn't know what it was. Where I applied at a bunch of different companies, only one company got back to me, and they sent me a laptop, a computer, headset, and everything to be able to work from home. And my first day on the job, they're like, "Robert, you're going to be doing reverse mortgages." What the heck's a reverse mortgage? I had no idea what it was. And I think the beauty of the reverse mortgage gets described through the first lady that I helped. She lived in Long Beach, so very close to home. And during the conversation, she told me that her mortgage payment was $2,500 a month, but her Social Security income was only $2,200 a month. Miss, how are you?
That,
You making
that's
ends meet?
yeah.
So she said she had friends and family that were helping out and a savings account that was slowly going away. After I took a deep breath, I said, our seniors shouldn't be living this way. So we're able to put together a reverse mortgage where we eliminated that $2,500 a month payment. Then we set her up with a line of credit of $100,000. So she was able to repair her roof. She got her bathroom repaired. She added a walk-in tub, grab bars, really to make her home safe as she was aging. And when she called me with such relief in her voice, when she said, "Robert, thank you so much. I finally feel like I'm able to breathe and enjoy my retirement." That's when I knew that this is what I wanted to do. And I haven't looked back since.
Wow.
That's a beautiful story.
And I think there's so many stories like that that are out there where people really don't know that they have options and they don't have to struggle. I feel like life is already hard enough, especially for our senior community. Um, and if they don't know this information, how would they know that, there's an alternative?
Mm, of course. And one thing that I've realized as I've been out in the community talking about reverse mortgages, someone asked me like, "Aren't you afraid to wear a shirt that says I love reverse mortgages?" You can't see it here, but I'm wearing it now. And I asked them like, "Why am I afraid?" And it's because of the negative connotation that this program has. And the thing about this program is a lot of people are starting to shift their realization, starting to get educated, so they can consider this in their retirement. And one thing that I
I think I
realized
had heard, sorry about that.
is that people that have reverse mortgages, there's still that negative stigma of like you failed, or there's this shame of there's this, I don't know how to describe it, that those people that
Even though you
actually,
changed her life, even though you changed her life with the way you helped her with that reverse mortgage.
yeah, there's people that have reverse mortgages where they just don't talk about it. And I think once
They
we
feel
start
like they
getting more
got like
people
they
talking about it.
I had this not my own negative connotation of reverse mortgages, but I just always heard that they were bad, right?
Mm,
And I knew, even being a realtor, I never had to really deal with it. So, we're dealing with new homeowners, new loans. Um, there was just such this negative stigma around it that I was like, I'm not referring anyone to do that because they're bad. But
mm,
really, I just didn't have the education behind it. And so when I saw you, I said, well, if this guy is willing to brand his entire career around this thing, and he doesn't look like a conniving, like predatory kind of guy, then there must be something I don't know about a reverse mortgage, right?
mm.
And so that's really why I wanted to get on here and talk about some of those stereotypes and like the myths, and get to the bottom of like what a reverse mortgage is. I think that negative connotation came from people who really did not have enough information, you know?
Mm. And so I had someone where I didn't do the reverse mortgage for them, but we were sitting down and it was like me and him in an office. And he was telling me how the reverse mortgage changed the life for his mother. He's like, if my mom didn't get this, she had no idea how she was going to retire.
Yeah.
Wow.
And as he started telling me that she has a reverse mortgage, he started whispering. And I'm like, there's no one else here. Like, what are you
It's
afraid of?
Wow.
okay. We can
And
talk about
it
this.
is
Why do
just
you
the
think it has a
fact
negative?
that
Why do you think it has? Why do you think that is? Why do you think it has this negative, this image, this negative feeling to it?
there's when reverse mortgages came out, I do want to come out and say yes, they were bad. The way they were set up, the way people were doing them, uh and it just a story, right? So someone was telling me that back in the day, let's say husband was 65, but the wife was only 59. So she wasn't, 62 to qualify for the reverse mortgage at the time. So what they were doing is the husband would get on the reverse mortgage. They would leave the wife off of the loan. So as time went on, once the husband passed away, she wasn't on the loan. There was no benefits for her. There was no protections. So then, you know, they would have to foreclose, and then the wife was, trying to figure out what she was going to do, where she was going to go live, and how she was going to figure that out. But now they added what's called surviving spousal protections. So what that means is, let's say if the wife is underage, they could add her as what's called a non-borrowing spouse. So God forbid the older spouse passes away, the surviving spouse gets to continue to live in the home with the benefits and protections of the reverse mortgage.
Oh, wow.
And I guess more on the negative stigma. I read an article. It was probably a couple of years ago is when it came out, and it says grandma lost house with reverse mortgage. That was the headline.
Yeah.
And I was like, and then everyone was sharing it, reposting it, reverse mortgages are bad. Really just reinforced that connotation. And as I looked into it, it said that the grandma didn't pay her property taxes for like 3 or 4 years.
So it really was nothing to do with reverse mortgage at all.
Yeah.
And it was like if you had any mortgage, if you're not paying your property taxes, you're gonna get foreclosed on. But
Right.
just the fact that she had a reverse mortgage, that's what got the bad rap.
Wow.
I think we got to back up a little bit. We probably should start with what is a reverse mortgage, right?
Oh, yeah. Okay.
And,
So
and
for
and and since you mentioned back in the day when they started, why did they start? Like, what is the history? Or not in depth,
yeah,
but
yeah.
brief history of what they are and how they started, and
You
then
know,
that you better understand
I
what they
probably should
mean when it comes to
know
reverse
why they got
mortgages.
started, but I really do think the reason why reverse mortgages came out were really just to help our seniors. Being on fixed income and heading towards retirement or in retirement already. One thing that I'm seeing and what a lot of other people are seeing is that as they're getting older, their biggest expense is their monthly mortgage payment.
Yeah.
And, sometimes, you may not have set yourself up financially, or even if you are set up financially, there's ways to use the reverse mortgage to really just enhance your lifestyle. So what a reverse mortgage is, it's a loan that allows you access to the equity in your home, and the payback is due at a later time. And that's really a reverse mortgage in a nutshell.
So it's a line of credit.
Okay, so if we want to talk about that, so there's multiple. ways you could access your funds, your equity using a reverse mortgage. And I think that's why what's so beautiful about them is there's so many use cases, there's so many ways you could access the funds where you could either get a lump sum, you could get a line of credit, you could receive monthly payments, or really a combination of the few. So like the story of the first lady that I helped, where she got a line of credit of $100,000. She needed, I want to say it was like 40,000 to do the repairs. So she got a lump sum of the 40,000, and then she had a line of credit that she was going to use if and when she needed it. So it's very customizable. It's not a one size fits all. It can get tailored for any situation.
Based on a question regarding the situation you just said, so she got a lump sum and line of credit. Did she still receive monthly payments?
So in this case, no. If she
Mhm.
wanted to, she could have,
Mhm.
but no, she didn't receive for this scenario.
Do you mean monthly pay, Corey? Are you saying did she get out her equity in monthly payments? Or are you saying did she have monthly payments?
Did she get her equity out in monthly payments?
Oh, okay, yeah. So just to be clear, there are no monthly payments with the reverse mortgage until the loan matures, right?
Yes, so there is no monthly payment required for the life of the reverse mortgage. Someone
Mhm.
people always ask me, well, when is a reverse mortgage due? And there's actually the maturity date is when the youngest borrower turns age 150. I don't know anyone that's
Yeah,
150, but I'm sure if someone makes it there, I'm sure there'd be an exception for them to stay in the home.
yeah.
And although
My
there's no
great grandmother
monthly,
made it like 105, and even that was crazy for
oh
us.
wow.
Yeah.
So, although there is no monthly mortgage payment required, I do emphasize all the time that they are still homeowners of the house. So they're responsible to pay their property taxes, their homeowners insurance, HOA dues if applicable, and just maintain the condition of the property. And, although there is no monthly payment required, I do recommend that you can still make payments, right? You can make interest only payments, you can make principal and interest payments, you can make lump sum payments. So I made a joke the other day, like if you win the lottery, you could pay back the reverse mortgage. There's no prepayment penalty.
That's not a joke.
Oh,
It's a great
and
scenario.
you can make payments as you want, or is it like if you start payments, you gotta commit to them? You can, or you can just make them as they're convenient.
So reverse payments can be made whenever, however you like. So I think that how I describe this, it's let's say you want to make interest only payments because you don't want the balance to increase, right? Because if you were to get a cash out refinance or a home equity line of credit, you're required to make this monthly mortgage payment. If not, it's going to mess up your FICO score and all the other negative repercussions.
Yeah.
And so let's say you start making payments and it's Christmas time. So you want to buy gifts for your grandchildren, you want to buy gifts for your kids. And let's say you've been paying $1,000 towards the interest or the principal and interest, whatever it is that you were doing, but just
Yeah.
for example purposes, it's $1,000. That month you just don't pay the $1,000. Now you have $1,000 you could use to buy all the gifts that you like.
Yep.
And starting January 1st, you could continue making payments again. And it's really just a flexibility that the
Yeah.
reverse mortgage allows to make payments if and when you want.
Interesting.
Do you have to have a certain amount of equity in your home before you can qualify for a reverse mortgage?
Yeah, that's a great question, Korie. So you could get a reverse mortgage if your house is paid off or if you still have a mortgage balance. That's definitely a question that I get very often. And a follow-up question to that is, well, how much money can I get? Robert, I hear about this reverse mortgage. How much cash money can I get? Oh, cash money, talking court hard cash.
Okay.
And I say it depends. And it really just depends on three factors. And those three factors are age, interest rates, and the value. So
Okay.
we'll start with the first one, age.
Okay.
The older you are, the more access to the equity you can get. And right now, with interest rates being high, they're getting access to less equity. So when the interest rates go down, they get access to more equity. It's like an inverse effect.
Okay.
And the third one is your property value. The higher your property value is, the more access to the equity you could get. And there's no like formula that I could do on the top of my head. It really
Yeah.
just depends on those three factors. We'd have to plug that into the calculator that the lenders have for us. And
So if you pull out some of your equity, right? Like say I have $1 million worth of equity in my property, which is very realistic for people, you know, in their 60s and up, right? But I only want to take out 200,000. Like right now, that's all I really need to do whatever I'm trying to do. And that's the number I'm comfortable with. But something happens and I need more access to funds. Are you just increasing, you know, your line of credit and, you know, freeing up more of that equity? Or is it like, just how is that structured?
yeah, so again, for a situation like that, I would advise that they get the program that gives them the line of credit access because that's
Yeah.
the one that's the most customizable. So if they
Okay.
want a 200,000 up front, they could get that, available to them at closing. And then, given their age and the other circumstances, they could get an access to a line of credit,
Mhm.
which is what gives them the flexibility to have it in the line of credit to use if and when they need it, um, to set up monthly payments from, or to receive, lump sums in the future. That's what I would recommend because it gives them the most flexibility if they need funds now and really a safety net for if they need anything in the future.
And I'm assuming another requirement is your mortgage probably needs to be current. Your property taxes, all that needs to be current to get the reverse mortgage.
So preferably, you'd want to be current on your mortgage and your other debt obligations.
Yeah.
But again, just the way this program was designed is to help our seniors in their years. So there's typically a 2-year look back period when it comes to your mortgage and your other obligations. But they understand the life of a senior, and sometimes there's circumstances that happen in your life where, let's say, you get injured and you couldn't work, or you got laid off from your job, or something happened in your life where you weren't able to make your monthly obligations, but we can document that and we could show like, hey, here's what happened and here's what we're going to do so hopefully it doesn't happen again.
Yeah.
um you're still able to work through that with the right documentation and still get the reverse mortgage.
Okay. I have a question. Is it possible to run out of equity? Is it possible to use up your reverse mortgage?
Yeah, so that's a great question. I am going to let you know now, the reverse mortgage companies aren't going to give you all your equity up front. They're not going to give you a huge majority of your equity. They're going to give you a percentage of it. And yes, that there is interest that is accruing on the loan balance. Um, but we could maybe another time or in a future episode, we could go through an amortization schedule. We'll show if you don't make payments, how the balance can increase over time. And the lenders assume a 4% appreciation rate. So it shows how as the balance does increase, so is the property value.
Yeah.
And worst case scenario, let's talk about it. Your house is underwater. The mortgage balance is worth more than what the value of the property is. You're completely okay. There is mortgage insurance, and it's a non-recourse loan. And what that means is you get to continue living in the home with the benefits and protections of the reverse mortgage. They're not going to require you to start making payments. You get to just continue living in the home, and there's no issue in that regard. So
Okay.
It's
building
almost
off of
too
that,
good to be true.
so a lot of people ask me, but like, well, I wouldn't want to get a reverse mortgage, have my balance become worth more than my house, and I don't want to leave a huge debt to my kids. And with it being a non-recourse loan, meaning you never have to owe more than what the house is worth, let's say they leave the house to their kids, there is no equity, there's nothing left over. They sign what's called a deed in lieu of foreclosure. It's called a cash for keys program, and they just hand the keys over to I think it's HUD, and they'll send them a $7,500 check and they walk away. So even if they were underwater, 200,000, 300,000, half a million underwater, they're not on the hook for the difference,
Good.
the
That's really interesting.
borrowers or the kids.
Great.
What what are the like are there different loan products that align with reverse mortgages? Like um we were talking about a reverse mortgage purchase. Could you break that down?
Okay, yeah. So the reverse mortgage purchase, it's a great opportunity for one for real estate agents like yourself to start talking to your seniors about this. And how I was mentioning this to Ashley the other day is for those that have been in real estate for a while, you may have a huge database of older clients that, you sold them a house or you've talked to them about selling and they're like, nah, I don't want to leave, I don't want to go anywhere. And, the as they get older, they might have all these questions and concerns of, well, my house is too big. It has stairs and it's hard for me to go up and down these stairs. And, I don't know how I'm gonna, maintain the property as I'm getting older, and they bought this house for their kids, right? They had it, they were growing their family, and as they got older, their kids moved out already, they have their own houses. They may move to another state or move farther, and they're like, man, like I'd like to move closer to my family again, but they feel stuck. And why I say that they feel stuck, it's, they're on fixed income. um, they're like, I'm not gonna sell this house and go buy another one and have 30 years of mortgage payments. I don't want to do that. And I think this is a unique opportunity that a lot of people should start considering. It's, we could get them pre-qualified for the reverse mortgage for purchase. And how this would work, most of the cases, is the real estate agent would then sell the house, use the proceeds from the sale to go buy a new house.
Mhm.
Depending on their age, they would have to put 60 to 65% down. Think about it. How solid is your offer going to look at 60% down?
Yeah.
And they'll finance the other 40% using the reverse mortgage. So now they have a house that better fits their needs, closer to family, and no monthly mortgage payments.
Mm.
And it even sounds like, putting 65% down, they'll still have some good money to keep, for whatever else they might need it for, because the amount of equity that they built over these years, it's all profit. So even buying something in this market, they sold in the same market. So it's very possible that the values will be, if you're downsizing, you're probably gonna buy something that was way less than what you sold your home for.
Yeah,
And
so there's ways
don't
where
you need to
they
break on the taxes also, the transfer taxes, if they're over a certain age, they keep the same tax
yeah, Proposition
taxes
19. Yeah.
exactly. And
Most
property
likely, yeah.
won't go up. That's
Mhm.
such a benefit for them.
And
That's
so
really awesome.
there's cases where someone who had no savings account was able to sell, right size, move to a house that better fits their needs. Didn't exhaust all their proceeds with the
Yeah.
all cash sale. Now someone who didn't have savings now has 200, 300,000 sitting in the bank account that they could invest and do whatever they
Wow.
want with. So it's really just the beauty of understanding this program, and someone that had no assets could have $200,000 in the bank readily available, in their
Yeah.
retirement.
That's life changing. That's
You know what I think a big part of the reason there's this huge misunderstanding about reverse mortgages are that, like you said, your client who was kind of whispering about his parents having one, most financial issues kind of come to play when people don't talk finances. And so I think, especially like if I think of my grandmother, right, and my grandparents, they're very secretive about their
Mm,
finances and their financial decisions because they're used to feeling like that's supposed to be a really personal, private thing. And as long as they've got it taken care of, there's no need for people to be in their business, right? And so if you're utilizing this reverse mortgage and you feel like there's this negative thing behind it, or you feel like you don't want people to know what's going on with your property, when that loan matures and, you pass on, and you meant to leave this for your kids, but you didn't really tell them what was going on. They also don't know what's going on. It's a lot to deal with, right? When that day comes. So I think it's really important for us to be giving this information, not just to the people who can actively use it now, but for the people who might be responsible when that loan matures, just so they can understand, like, you know, this property is still attainable.
Mm,
There's
We don't have to
pick
lose
up
it.
the phone and
Still,
make a phone call, right? Because if people don't know and they're just like, dad left this big mess and I don't know where his paperwork is, and he never told me about this reverse mortgage thing, and now I owe people money. They're gonna take, like, there's all these things that can come up, especially if grief is in play. So it's so important when
the
people are
plan.
utilizing these loans for them to also be knowledgeable enough to explain to the people they're passing it on to,
mm.
what to do next.
Good
Yeah,
plan.
so to that point, in the beginning of the my consultation, I'll ask. I was like, "Is there anyone else that you'd like to talk to about this?" There's no one better to explain it than I can. So I'll have them, bring them on board if they'd like, but sometimes they just want to keep it to themselves, and
Yeah.
I
That's such a
respect
thing. I wish
their
I could like
privacy.
investigate the root of that and just undo it. Because it shows up in everything. It's not just reverse mortgages,
Mm,
and you should definitely at least have one person that knows the ins and outs of what's going on, in the event of someone's absence.
Well,
you
Ashley, we are doing that. We're hoping to educate the community by doing this
Yeah,
podcast, to let them
for
know
sure.
that there are options and that, you know, education is powerful.
say that
Definitely.
again.
Trying to think if I have any other questions.
I'm excited. I'm just excited to share this information with other people. I just really am, because you've helped me understand it way more than I could imagine in this short amount of time.
Yeah,
So so I can only imagine that for our next podcast, or for, the more I learn, the more I can share.
Mm,
And like I said, that I learned a lot in this short amount of time. So I'm excited for the
I'm
next.
really excited for this like partnership and this, just I think it's important when you're in like, you know, senior care and serving those communities, that you actually have a good heart and consideration, and you have like the right intentions when you're guiding these type of decisions. And so
mm.
that's definitely what gravitated me to the both of you. Um, just to say, like, let us be the ones to educate people.
We come from a place of helping,
Yeah,
Yeah.
serving.
and it's genuine, and the more we help, the happy we are, and it each one to each one.
Yeah,
Robert,
Right.
really, really thank you. You're awesome.
no, of
You're super
course.
awesome, and I can't wait
I
to.
feel like you gotta show the shirt before
Oh,
we get off
I
the
got
call.
to.
You
So
must.
it's
In fact, I want to order one. That's hot. That's hot. I would
For
like one.
sure.
so I did talk to my guy, and I think so it's exclusive, one of I think I got like 40 of them maybe in the drawers and stuff.
That's hot.
People
That's hot.
think
You can even like brand it. We'll wear it with your brand on it. We don't mind.
it's so I'm talking to him. So we're in the works of building something. So every time
Yeah.
someone asks, we'll just send it out and do that.
That is
But
awesome. And in fact, that's a great marketing tool for all your clients. Every client you get, you can send them a shirt.
yeah, and
That'll get people talking for sure.
That'll get people talking, exactly. And that'll make them happy. That will help change the negative image of reverse mortgages.
yeah, it's definitely the goal. There's so many use cases. I think there's that I want to touch on this before we move forward or
I
anything.
was gonna say, like, who do you think, or like what type of scenario, um, you know, what are you seeing when you're meeting with people and you guys are talking about reverse mortgages, and what ways are you helping them other than just taking away that monthly mortgage?
Yeah, so I've been talking to a lot of in-home healthcare companies.
Hmm.
Reason being, a lot of these companies are private pay. And
Yeah.
as our seniors are getting older, they need to have someone around, someone to take care of them. someone to help, in case they have a slip and fall and they need someone as a recovering.
Yeah.
But as they're inquiring to all these companies, I guess a question that I asked them, it's like, are you guys private pay or do you guys take insurance? They take
Yeah.
private pay. So these seniors are like,
Well,
how am I
I
going to
have
afford
a
this?
home care agency, and so there just isn't the insurance that there needs to be to help
Yes,
these families.
right.
So
And it's an expensive service,
But it's
and
needed.
the thing is, when these people are looking like, how am I going to afford this? They're
Yeah.
only looking at their bank accounts and their savings accounts, and they don't realize that they're sitting on so much equity that they built up over the years that they can use to pay for these services. And
Yeah.
it just
Let me ask you
like,
this.
go ahead.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
And it just like, that's where the customization of the reverse mortgage comes in, where let's say they need, $4,000 a month to pay for the care just for, 5, 6 months. They could pull from their home equity to pay for the services and then have the remaining in a line of credit to use if and when they need it. So there are just so many use cases. There's a lot of financial planners that I'm beginning to work with. There was a case study that's been done that someone that got a reverse mortgage early in their retirement versus as a last resort had more assets and equity left over for the kids. Reason being, you don't want to pull from your stocks, your 401k, your savings account when the market's in the red, or in a down market. You want to give your stocks time to breathe, time to grow, time to recuperate. So in the down markets, you pull from your home equity instead of your asset accounts.
Yeah.
And there are just so many use cases. Like
Smart.
I could talk here all day about different ways someone could use a reverse mortgage, why they consider one. One that I'm thinking about now, there was husband and wife. Husband's, health was declining. The wife wasn't able to continue caring for her husband, and she wanted her independence. She wanted to stay in the house, but the husband had made it very clear that when his health declined, he wanted to go to an assisted living community. I don't know if you guys seen prices of the assisted living community, but they are pretty pricey, especially here in California. So what they ended up deciding on doing is they got a reverse mortgage. They eliminated their monthly mortgage payments and they used the equity to pay for the husband's care. And the wife was able to stay in the house and remain her and keep her independence.
Okay. Okay.
So there's so many, ways that this can be set up for someone.
Side question. This may be kind of off a little bit. Could could someone use a reverse mortgage or pull money from a reverse mortgage to purchase other property?
Yeah, it's a great question, and that's something that I had a
That was my
realization with
question.
the other day. And
I was
I
literally gonna
was
ask
thinking,
that.
I was like, and it's story is the best way to explain this, right? So a real estate agent had went to a seller and they're like, "Let me sell your house," and they're like, "I'm not going anywhere. This is my house. I am here with my
My
wife."
bird's backyard.
And and he had his son and his son's wife. They just had a kid and they were living with them. And so it kind of hit me. I was like, wait, we have a unique solution for this guy. I was like, instead of him selling and moving, he get a reverse mortgage on his property. He gives a living inheritance. So he uses the equity from his house. He gifts it to his son to go buy his own house. So now the his wife is able to breathe because she's not doing laundry
Beautiful.
for everyone. She's not taking care of everyone. And so now he's able to give a living inheritance to his son. His son's able to go buy his own house. And
Yeah.
so when the family passes away, instead of leaving them just one house, now they're leaving two houses.
Yeah.
So yeah, you
And you
can
could
use.
essentially do that for, you've got 2 kids, 3 kids. You more than likely have the equity to be able to help them. I love that term, a living inheritance.
I
Mm,
do too. That's
That's awesome.
beautiful.
Yeah.
That's
And then
awesome.
it stops your current payments as well. So I mean, it's like a win-win for everyone.
Wow.
So
And then
yeah,
your
This
kids
is really
have their
powerful
new
today.
property, they're building equity. And it also gives them access to funds should they need it for that payout.
Mhm.
That's awesome.
This is really, yeah, this is great. I have so many more options to share with my clients now. This is just like
so
really
many.
fabulous.
And what was the minimum age requirement is 55 now, right?
Yeah, so in California, there are special reverse mortgages that allow someone to get a reverse mortgage as early as age 55. But the
Wow.
standard HECM, the home equity conversion mortgage, which
Mhm.
is the proper term for reverse mortgages,
Okay.
Okay.
start at 62. But in
Okay.
California, there's programs that allow them to get it at 55.
But if one spouse is 62, then they can still do it, and then they can still add the other spouse on as,
The
like you said earlier,
non-borrowing spouse, yes.
non-borrowing spouse. Okay. Hmm. Okay.
Nice.
I like them to
It's
call compliance right now. Tell them about this, Chris. I'm thinking about like, yeah,
55 is really not a senior. I feel like they're getting all the benefits, but they're
exactly.
technically not.
You know,
That's a
and
good thing
and
though.
that's the thing, when we say senior, we're
Yeah,
talking about so many generations, right? We're talking about the
right.
60-year-old, the 70-year-olds, the 80-year-olds, the 90-year-olds, and even some of the 100-year-olds. Like there's
Yeah,
so many generations, so many
it's open.
people that we're, bundling up when we say senior. So I think there's a better way that I should say it, but I don't know any ideas yet. I'm open to hear
That's
what you guys have.
that's a terminology. I'll be a senior soon. I don't mind.
Yeah.
Not at all.
Yeah, I think it's awesome though. Like it's a great program, from what you've said, and maybe all the negative stereotypes before just came from like financing situation corporations just figuring out how to make it make sense long term, like the whole not including the spouse thing. That's one of those things where maybe it wasn't foreseeable when this
Mm.
product was created, but as time went on, they perfected it. And it sounds like this is something I'm comfortable um, sharing with my clients. I'm comfortable sharing with my home care clients as far as what you
I'm
said,
so
paying for
good
care.
about it.
Yeah, I feel good about sharing
Yeah.
this information now that I know what it is.
I'm sure like we had the predatory loans back in 2008 and whatnot. I'm sure that there were some, you
And then
know,
also just
uh,
predatory
uh,
lenders, like maybe
yeah,
lenders who weren't explaining things the way they needed to go. There's good and bad in everything. There's good agents, there's bad agents.
we've
Um,
evolved into all that though. So we've evolved
yeah,
and we perfected this reverse mortgage program and it works. And we've seen that it works. We've seen the benefits of it. And so we're here to share it
And
and teach.
they're continuing to evolve. Where I want to say earlier this year, if I'm maybe early last year is when this program came out. It's it's a second reverse mortgage. So what this means, there's people out there that, let's say they have a first mortgage, they're comfortable making their payments, they have no issues, during the refi boom in 2020, they locked in a 2.75, a 3% interest rate, and they're like, I am not gonna get a reverse mortgage and get a higher interest rate when I'm comfortable paying my payments, but I want access to my equity. So there's this program, it's called a Home Safe Second, and it came out for those people that have a first mortgage but want access to some equity. And what this program is, it's a full draw loan, meaning it's a one-time lump sum payment, and you could use it to pay for so many things. So right now, I have someone that's getting this program who has credit card debt, has auto loans, has personal loans, and with all the minimum payments and all his interest, he's paying about, I think, $1,500 a month on all these payments. And he's able to get the second to pay off all these debts to, I think he's still left over with 20,000 to invest, to do whatever he likes with. And he's going from paying $1,500 a month to zero required.
Wow.
And for the savvier clients, I have someone that's considering this program to do an ADU in their backyard. So now they have, it's tax-free proceeds. Now they're, building an ADU. So now they're increasing the value of their property.
Yeah.
and then now they're going to start generating, revenue once it's complete.
Is there when you're qualifying for a reverse mortgage, do they look at your cash flow or how much income you have coming in? Like, do
Yeah.
if someone has a pension or they're receiving Social Security, or maybe they have income property, does that affect their ability?
Yeah, so there are like income requirements for the reverse mortgage. Like,
Yeah.
yes, there's no principal and interest payments, but the borrower is still responsible to pay their property taxes or homeowners insurance, HOA,
Okay, so you
any.
have to make sure you have enough to cover that still.
Yeah, so it's
But
called a
there's no such thing
financial.
as like I make too much money to get a reverse mortgage, as far
Correct.
as from the lender's point of view. Okay,
Yeah,
that's good.
so
That's
most of the borrowers that I work with have Social Security and a pension or just Social Security. Some of them
Yeah,
are still working. Uh,
oh, okay.
so they're still working, but they're looking to retire.
yeah,
Some more business owners are self-employed, have investment properties. It just that the reverse mortgage needs to be done on the primary residence.
Okay. Okay.
But it's very flexible, someone asked, like, what if I have a bad FICO score? And it's okay. You have limited income,
Requirements are
it's okay.
different than qualifying. The qualification requirements are different than qualifying for a loan, but there still are income requirements.
Correct. It's very like less like lenient. Is that I think that's the proper
yeah,
terminology.
Mhm.
yeah. It sounds
And
super custom. Yeah.
more flexible and understanding.
All right.
Okay.
You answered my question so far. I'm sure I'll have more. But for
Uh,
Is there
now,
anything you want to ask us?
uh,
I know we're all getting to know each other still. So do you have any like,
yeah, Corey, if you could just tell me why you got into real estate and what you love about helping the senior community. I'd love to hear it.
I got into real estate. I started off working as an assistant for a really, really awesome female realtor who who did a lot of had a lot of inventory, who did a lot of work. And she was a realtor for
okay.
years. Thank you. She did it for years, and she her mother was too, and so she was very. I learned a lot from her, and on how she helped people realize their dreams and get into these properties, and she really did um the way she did it. I admired that, and so I got in real estate school, and then I met Ashley, and so that even helped with my path, to being a realtor. The actual one of the first homes that I sold was a family home, a family
Mm.
member home who had passed away,
Oh,
and it was in a trust, and I always had to deal with the surviving siblings, and I learned a lot from that transaction on the needs of families who are going through these type of situations, caring for the elderly family, and then once they pass away, the after care of that, after effects of that. And so, and it kind of happened a few times after that where my transactions were the same situations. And so I I appreciate those situations, and I kind of gravitate towards them because I feel like I can help them. I can listen to them and help meet their needs
mm,
throughout the what they're going through. I can, be it burying a family member or whatever, they're overwhelmed, and so we can help them navigate that, um, and help and give them some kind of peace and go on to the
Yeah.
next step. Mhm.
wow. Thank you for sharing.
Then Ashley was able to um, help with my family's sale of their property. My grandfather who was 100 years old. And so
Wow.
she got to deal with that and the family dynamics of that too. And she can tell you more about that, but it was an experience.
Yeah. I got into real estate because my grandfather, he was an investor. And so, you know, when he passed away, those apartment buildings, they, you know, there was like a responsibility there for me to step in and help my grandma. And I really knew nothing about investing, managing, anything like that, because I was in the senior care industry. I come from a family of nurses and doctors, and so that's just always been my background. Um, and so I got into it to kind of help with the family business in that sense. But I was working mostly with investors, and I still do, but there was a lack of fulfillment for me. Um, and I realized, like, working with Korie's mother and sister on her grandfather's property, I like that, those kind of transactions better. They're more close to the heart. You know, you feel like you're actually making a difference. You're helping people who, you know, I just have like this granddaughter dynamic that's really like comforting for me. And so to be able to be that person, you know, in my personal life with my grandmother and with my clients, and then also show up and be that agent to serve that same population, like, it just feels good. You know, when you help someone has a big problem, and you know how to help them fix it.
Help them navigate it at least.
Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah. It does feel good.
I know you gotta go. I mean, we all gotta go, right, at 5. So I think the next thing is just letting everyone know how they can contact us.
Yeah, so I think we could add this to the YouTube descriptions at the
Yeah,
bottom.
yeah.
But again, you could reach me at 323-947-5527. You could send a call or text, or you could email me at robertg@barrettfinancial.com. And Ashley or Korie?
Yeah, Ashley White. I'm at Robert Pitts Estates in Inglewood. My number is 323-494-9294. We could always drop, you know, the number on the screen and our emails and whatnot. Call and text me anytime. I always answer the phone, sometimes 10 o'clock at night.
Wow.
So, yeah. And then
You can
Korie.
contact me, Korie White. I'm with Keller Williams Advisors, which is located in Marina Del Rey. And you can contact me at 310-709-7599. That was not the number I wanted to leave either.
I probably shouldn't have said no one called me at 10 though.
I know, right?
Now they
Anyway,
are. Now they are.
Yeah,
this
right.
is
That's not the
right.
best time to talk business.
The best number to contact me at is 424-243-6199. And I can be reached at Korie at KorieWhite.com. And that's KORIE, KorieWhite.com. And again, thank you all. You
Thank you
awesome.
guys.
Thank you for
Enjoy the
joining
rest of
us.
the evening. It was great.
Awesome people.